Hello, fellow player characters. This is Dave on CRPG Dungeons and Dragons Night, and the PDFs for Phantasy Star Tabletop Roleplaying game, has been released this morning. I haven't received my physical copies yet, but I figured we'd go through the PDFs since it'd be a little bit easier for you guys to see that way, and we'll see if any differences in any other tabletops there are, or what kind of classes. Uh, some of the weapons, even some of the enemies while we're at it. I won't get into too much details of the actual gameplay at this time. This is just basically a rundown of pretty much everything else. So uh, please enjoy, and let's get going on this. By the way, it's going to be full screen so you guys can actually see everything that I see. So there we go. Okay, so I'm assuming this is going to be the cover for the hard copy as well. Phantasy Star Tabletop Role Playing, and you got the characters from the original, the very first original game. We got Meow, uh, Alice or Alyssa, depending on which version you played. Odin, or I can't remember what his other name was, and then you got Lutz. But and then of course there's Meow down here. I think I said that already. So Alyssa and Odin, or Alice and Odin, and he has another name. I just can't think of what it is right now. So bear with me. Okay, here we got the creators of the game, of course, the guys that put it all together, and Sega was involved with this. They gave a license for this game to be created, so it's perfectly legal. See here, cover artist Santi Casas. Additional design. Okay, lead designer was which Leska Flower? Leska Flare? I should have watched those videos. Maybe I would have heard his name better. Um, Ashley, Michelle, Navigator Lawson, Christopher Robin, Negeline, and Eric Weiner. Lead editor Ashley Lawson again. Additional editing Sean Banerjee, Jose Yamil Camacho, Scott Fitzgerald Gray. Cover art by Santi Casas. Interior illustrator Santi Casas, Josh Ketchen, Bima Kasuma, Brendan Lancaster, Matt Morrow, Jose Francisco Hernandez Nieto. That was a mouthful. Tan Ho Sam, Brian Syme. Additional illustrations by Dominic Critelli, Sebastian Decorat, Peter Urick, or Jurek, Camille Kuo, Zdanek, Sasak, Thanapol Sensrang, Malik Sketz, graphic designer Rich Laskaflair, project management Rich Laskaflair, Angie Calveca, Christopher Robin Nageline, Eric Weiner, social media manager Heather Ashcraft. Special thanks to Teos Abadia, Gabriel Billy, David Christ, Amanda Hammond, Eloy Lasanta, Ginny Loveday, Greg Marks, Sean Merwin, Sonderflex Studio, Alan Patrick, Mike Shea, T. Alexander Stangroom, and Sega Corporation. Sega copyright 2025. All right. Oh, what? Ooh, we got a well over 223 pages worth of stuff here. What is Phantasy Star? Tabletop role playing, themes of the game, using the book, playing the game. Yeah, we'll kind of brush over that real quick. Creating characters, character origins, professions, equipment, technique, monsters, vehicles, starships, game masters, tools, galactic lore, and game series overview. And it goes both over the classic series and the online series. Appendix B will be sources and references, and of course you got the index at 223. Okay, welcome to Phantasy Star. Let's see here. The long, long struggle of ancient times finally ended. The victor sacrificed the vanquished to the heroes. 4 bells tolled, 4 torches were lit, and the world continued for thousands of years. Opening monologue, Phantasy Star 4. And we pretty much know what a role-playing game is, but I'm going to say it anyway. Phantasy Star Tabletop Roleplaying is a cooperative storytelling game where you and your friends take on the roles of heroic protagonists in a boundless universe based on the popular Phantasy Star video game series. Imagination is the game's primary fuel, along with a basic set of rules used to craft amazing stories and exciting adventures. What is Phantasy Star? Phantasy Star is a series of multi-platform video games created by Sega Corporation. Launched in 1987, the eponymous first installment of the series was one of the earliest Japanese role-playing games, JRPGs, ever made for console systems. The series is known for its rich science fantasy setting that combines mystical themes with technological events to form epic tales that span millennia. The series later moved from standalone console games to a massive multiplayer online MMO platform whose installments continue to this day. Tabletop Role-Playing. Phantasy Star Tabletop Role-Playing is designed to recreate the amazing worlds, stories, and characters presented in the Phantasy Star universe while providing with tools and guidance for creating your own various tales of cosmic fantasy. In a tabletop role-playing game, TTRPG, your group tells the story through conversation accompanied by a base set of rules used to determine the outcome of each story scenario. Dice is rolled when faced with uncertain outcomes or when fighting adversaries. Although the core themes of Phantasy Star remain the same, each heroic tale is different. Whether you build an action-packed saga, a twisted tale of horror, or a heartfelt story of enduring love and friendship. These rules are intended to provide the tools you need to conceive whatever you imagine. Themes of the game. As a specific genre of video games, most JRPGs share common elements: fantastic worlds, legendary heroes, ensemble cast of companions, and epic struggle against a dark and deadly threat. The protagonists are driven by their own hopes, dreams, and personal traumas, compelled to believe in themselves and rely on each other to overcome the many trials that face them. Fantasy elements. The Phantasy Star series presents these same themes described above, and this game uses them all as inspiration. Phantasy Star Tabletop Role-Playing focuses on guiding you to create your own space fantasy set in amazing locales filled with unique creatures and mystical legends. The main difference is that, unlike a video game, the story isn't predetermined. There are no XP grinds or random NPCs with unrelated fetch quests. Instead, your group works together to form your own story, with events that weave together like an expanding tapestry of your characters as your characters grow and develop. Chapter 10 provides guidance on world building and setting development. Each of the following elements is prevalent in any Phantasy Star story. Action hero style. These are no everyday heroes. The mechanics in the game promote and encourage extraordinary feats of valor and fantastic abilities, and looking cool while doing it never hurts either. A grand adventure. Even seemingly insignificant tasks can open a path onto a fateful journey. No matter how big or small your tasks, how they weave into and affect the fate of the universe is always up to you. Heroic destinies. As they grow, heroes in Phantasy Star are often destined to perform great deeds, whether to determine their own fates or the fates of those around them. Magic and technology. Swords and blasters, wizards and aliens, dungeons and biolabs, Each of these cross-genre examples contribute to Phantasy Star's unique look and feel. Although some games favor fantasy over futuristic, or vice versa, each story involves elements of both as established parts of the setting and lore. Oop, I overshot it. Yeah, okay. Between light and darkness. A major theme of the Phantasy Star universe is the constant struggle between the forces of good and evil, the light and the dark. But this dynamic involves more than just defeating an evil baddie. A larger underlying theme often presents itself the corruption of humanity and its calamitous effects on life in the galaxy. A similar theme is one of growth and enlightenment. A plucky band of heroes' true battle is often waged within before they can triumph over the forces of darkness. Across space and time, a Phantasy Star story often takes place within a vast galaxy filled with different planets, cultures, and history. Our heroes blast off into the stars for realms mysterious or unknown, and their actions on each of these worlds have dire consequences that can last for generations. Worlds of Fantasy. Tales in the Phantasy Star universe take place in techno-fantasy worlds of mystery and legend. You can build upon established settings such as Algo or Rogol, or you can create a different setting altogether. In either case, your group creates or expands upon the people, places, and history of the setting, which evolves with each scenario you play. Worlds in Phantasy Star share common traits. Some examples of these are perilous realms. Between towns, cities, and settlements are lands crawling with vicious beasts, deadly robots, or rampaging biomonsters. Beyond these hostile threats are powerful villains, working behind the scenes, ruthless overlords, evil wizards, rogue cyber intelligences, and alien horrors are a few examples of the dark denizens the heroes are destined to face. Galactic societies. While dire threats loom over the galaxy, its varied peoples are often divided by cultural, political, or regional boundaries. As the heroes travel between worlds and realms, they can help to bring the communication gap between diverse cultures and varying species. God, I'm having a hard time reading. Establishing these new alliances with different factions plays a huge role when the heroes need help to defeat the galaxy's most powerful enemies. Ancient mysteries. Each setting in Phantasy Star holds a deep, mysterious presence presented in the form of ancient legends or mythical relics. These can have either fantasy or science fiction related features or the combination of both. A vengeful god could also be a cosmic entity. Similarly, a fabled weapon could end up being a plasma cannon from a 1,000-year-old spacecraft. Sounds about right. A living universe. Over the many stories told through the ages, one thing remains true of the universe. Everything is connected. Whether through fate, legend, or some form of metaphysical bond, the hero's destinies are bound to those of figures from distant past. Connected by a darkness that returns when humanity is at its most vulnerable. Using this book. This book is divided into two major parts. Although each section has its own purpose, they can both be referenced to provide the other with expanded content and inspiration. The role-playing game. The majority of this book covers the rules and materials needed to create characters, settings, and adventure scenarios in the universe of Phantasy Star. Its contents include basic rules of play, creating a Phantasy Star character, tools and equipment, using techniques, vehicles and starships, monsters and threats, Game Master's tools. Okay, Galactic Lore. Following the RPG rule is a lore guide covering all things Phantasy Star. The lore guide includes a story timeline and lore for each series, adapting iconic characters, creating new plot threads, building or adapting to the Phantasy Star setting, a brief history of the games. Games and abbreviations. The following games from Phantasy Star series and their abbreviations are mentioned in this book. Phantasy Star is PS1. Phantasy Star 2 is PS2. Phantasy Star 3 Generations of Doom is PS3. Phantasy Star 4 The End of the Millennium, PS4. Phantasy Star Adventure, PSA. Phantasy Star Gaiden, which I'm currently playing on my streams and YouTube channel, is PSG. Phantasy Star Online is PSO. Phantasy Star Zero is PSZ. I noticed that Phantasy Star Universe was not mentioned. That's okay, it wasn't a very good series anyway. Okay, well, this is basically all the rules and stuff, so we're not really going to get into that. We'll get into that at a later time. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get to character creation. Yeah, there's combat. Creating characters. There must be other people besides us who could suffer because of these biomonsters. From now on, I will use my healing powers to help those kinds of people. Amy Sage, Phantasy Star 2 Text Adventures. Well, I guess I'm doing the text adventures now, too. This chapter provides the building blocks for creating a Phantasy Star character to use in this game. Your character is your in-game persona created from a combination of stats, options, and your imagination. Session 0, press start. Before your group dives into character creation, there are a few things to discuss to help you get started. A useful way to do this is with a Session 0. An initial game session focused on establishing a theme for that game and setting expectations on the players and GM. So they do call him a GM in this one. These decisions may influence what types of characters the players would choose to create. Establishing a theme. The GM should establish a tone and theme for the campaign. Is your story going to be gritty tale of war and sacrifice, or an action spy thriller of mystery and intrigue, or perhaps a fantastic tale in the mythical realm of the Muskcats? A combination of these themes or others could work just as well. Your choice of setting is important as well. Think about the type of characters you could want for an adventure in the wastelands of Dozolis compared to the techno-sprawl of Pioneer 2. Setting expectations. Your group should focus how long and how often they would like to play. This helps to set a regular play schedule which your group can alter at any time. It also gives players an idea of how far or how fast their characters will advance in the game. Forming a party. Decide how the player characters know each other. Could they be childhood friends, just passing acquaintances, or perhaps a group of perfect strangers at the right place and time? Perhaps some characters know each other better than others. Here are some example scenarios to use as starting points or as ideas for you to create your own. Bound in tragedy, a major event that affects all the characters brings them together to pursue a common goal. Hired for a job. The characters are all members of the same faction or organization, given a starting task. Pursue a common goal. Hired for a job. The characters are all members of the same faction or organization, given a starting task. Guilds, government agencies, or rebel factions of some examples of organizations. Friends forever! The characters have known each other all their lives, or perhaps they were once a group of longtime friends, now reunited. The meet cute. The characters run into each other in an unlikely, humorous, or embarrassing situation. Okay, subject matter and content. After choosing your theme, everyone in the group should indicate any relevant topics and elements they may find uncomfortable discussing in game. Some of these may have degrees, others may be red lines entirely. Examples include romance and sexual content. Discuss whether your group is comfortable with including these elements and to what degree. Villainous action. Establish a line for describing evil, cruelty, bigotry, or other vile acts. Violence. Discuss the level of blood and gore described in your game. It is just as easy to describe a death without going into gruesome details. Setting ground rules. Following are recommendations for setting up basic ground rules regardless of your type of game. Respect for the group. Avoid disagreements by escalating into heated arguments, and avoid bringing personal conflicts into the gaming group. If there is an agreed upon time, do your best to not to show up late. Respect for yourself and others. There should be zero tolerance for personal harassment of any kind. If you wouldn't want something said to you, chances are no one wants to hear it from you either. Don't make assumptions based off anyone's ethnicity, gender, religious beliefs, or sexual orientation. I can't believe they have to put this in here. Show consideration and respect for people's names and how they wish to be called. Be mindful of others' feelings and always ask for and expect the same in return. Respect for property. Don't touch other people's property without permission. This includes character sheets, dice, electronics, food, gaming, tools. Clean up after yourself when the session is over. Okay, that one I agree to because I've had to clean up after people so many times after a game. Characters by design. Creating a character involves the following steps. Create a concept. The concept is a general idea of your character's identity. Choose an origin. Your origin is a combination of your character's lineage, upbringing, and past experiences. Choose a profession. Your profession defines your in-game role and provides you with most of your skills and features. Determine abilities. Your 6 abilities affect most of what your character can do during the game. These are influenced by your choice of origin and profession. Record adjustments. Using your choice of origin and profession, adjust your abilities and skills. Record your gear and features. Okay, then it goes into details about creating a concept, choosing an origin, choosing a profession. Okay, what are the professions? We got Guardian, Hunter, Mystic, Operative, Savant, Thaumaturge, and Warrior. Okay, so Guardian is a versatile combatant and defender. A Hunter combines weapon skills with technique use. A Mystic combat adapt with spiritual techniques. An Operative expert in infiltration and exploration. A Savant specialist in biotech and machines. A Thaumaturge, channelers of arcane power and eternal energy. And a Warrior, master of arms and armor. What, no espers? Record your level, and we already know. Record features, skills and proficiencies, choose starting equipment. Take a pause. Your profession influences many effects of your character. Continue from here as you go through the remaining steps. You will need to reference back to your profession. Determining abilities, fill in stats, weapons. Okay, so we do have a listing on how to do leveling up. Going from, and it goes up to 20. I think they're using the D20 system. You know, I'm going to go back to here. Flow of the game, during flow of. Yeah, if you're using the D20 system. So yeah, this game's going to be pretty easy to figure out. Okay, Okay, now we go into character origins, anatomy of an origin, story bonds, androids, also known as casts in Phantasy Star Online. Okay, so species descriptions. That's what I was looking for. So we got androids or casts if you're using the Phantasy Star Online system universe, I should say. Androids were created using technology from ancient civilizations, originally built to serve humans. They evolved over time to become self-aware and gain true sentience. After attaining their independence, they set out to forge their own paths with a sense of self-worth and dedication to their chosen purpose. Excuse me. Androids are bipedal, but their appearances can depend on initial design and time of construction. Some appear like humans or similar organic beings, while others have entirely cybernetic or mechanical features. An android's age varies. They are typically anywhere from 2 to 50 years old. Their maximum lifespan is unknown, though some are known to have survived over 1,000 years. Okay, that goes to the types. Okay, humans. Humans are well, this is a different Alice, but humans are by far the most populous species in the galaxy. They are believed to have originated on Palma, the first planet of the Algo system. Many believe, however, that their true origins go back far beyond Algo's own known history. Humans are also the progenitors of both androids and humans. Throughout generations, humans have ventured out to settle upon or colonize other worlds. They are as varied as they are numerous, adapting to diverse cultures and planetary environments. In game terms, humans are little different in size and appearance than those found in the real world. Their fashions, habits, and mannerisms are greatly dependent upon their current environment. Oops. Okay, Newman. Newmans, sometimes spelled Newmans, that's difference being Newmans and Numans, were created as a result of biological research experiments, combining human genes with those of biomonsters. Originally shunned in society, they gained acceptance over time and evolved to be recognized and respected as an independent species. The genetic research that created Newmans focused on augmenting physiological traits and enhancing the ability to channel energy into techniques. Newmans have appeared similar to humans, though they tend to have slimmer builds. A distinct feature among them is their pointy, elongated ears. Their age also belies their appearance. Typical Newman can appear anywhere from 1 to 30 years old. Their average lifespan is the same as a human's. And then we go into their traits. Okay. Additional species options. Dazolian. These tall humanoids are native to the frozen world of Zola, third world of the Olgo system. While most still reside on their native planet, some are known to venture out to other parts of the galaxy. Their native culture is also rooted in the world's mythology, centered around a religion dedicated to the reverence and preservation of sacred artifacts, the Eclipse Torch. Dazolians tend to be taller than the average human. They have no body hair, and their skin complexions range from between pale and deep green hues. They mature as fast as humans and have an average lifespan of 140 to 160 years. Motavian. I almost botched that word completely. These humanoids are native to the desert planet of Motavia, the second planet of the Algo system. On their homeworld, they are often reclusive, even from cultures with nearby settlements. They have no formal system of government, instead forming groups of clans, residing in small, villages scattered throughout the desert. While rare, some Motavians venture into outside settlements, though they avoid involving themselves in Palmanian affairs unless necessary. Motavians share strong cultural ties with their family unit, but they also value each other's individual rights to choose their own path. They live in harmony with their environment and avoid using most forms of technology unless it's for salvage or sale. Motavians are typically shorter than the average human. Their bodies are covered in a layer of short blue fur. They have pupilless eyes and different shades of red and a beak-like mouth. They age and mature as fast as humans. Musk cat. As their name implies, musk cats are small, cat-like creatures. They have strong affinity for magic and techniques. Throughout Olgol's known history, few musk cats are known to exist. Even fewer have been seen by those outside their secluded settlements. Musk cats are small quadrupeds covered in thick fur with yellow or brown hues. They have pointed, elongated ears and thick, bushy tails. Legends tell of a magical tree whose seeds can transform a muskrat I said muskrat, into a mythical winged beast. Muskrat tree, okay. And that seems to be it. No mention of Vespers. Huh. Background descriptions. Acolyte. Okay, these are background descriptions. They got Acolyte, Celebrity, Crafter, Drifter, Investigator, Local Hero, Outlander, Outlaw, Patrician, Pilot, Scholar, Soldier, Techie, Wayfarer. Okay. And we got story bonds. We got Admiration, Awakening, Chronicler, Debt, Destiny, Duty, Family, Friendship, Guilt, Hope, Justice, Mastery, Mystery, Redemption, Student, Support, Tragedy, Vengeance, Vow, and Wanderlust. Now we go into professions. We got Guardian. Heroic Defender and Champion of Justice. Examples of Guardians include Alice Landale, that's PS1, Rolf Landale, PS2, Adon, PS3, and Aaron, PS3. And they go into different details and what they learn over the levels. Techniques. Guardian paths. You got Champion, Slayer. And then we got Hunter. Expert explorers and trackers. Examples of hunters include Anna Zursky, PS2. Chaz Ashley, PS4. Ash Kanan, PSO. Rico Tyrell, PSO. And Kai, PSZ. Well, I don't think I'm ever going to be playing the Phantasy Star online games, but I'll definitely see if I can get a hold of Phantasy Star Zero. Hunter features. Hunter's Mark. Basically, it's a ranger. Yep. Hunter's paths include Ranger and Vanguard. Okay. Mystic. Agile combatant who channels spiritual energy. Examples of mystics include Meow. That's on Phantasy Star 1. Nay, PS2. Mew, PS3. And, or is that pronounced Mayu? Mayu? Okay. And Rika, PS4. Features. Mystic techniques. Mystic paths. Skirmisher and Warder. Okay. Operatives. Experts in infiltration, investigation, and subterfuge. Examples of operatives include Sure Gold, Lena of Satira, And that was in Phantasy Star 3, and the main protagonist from Phantasy Star Adventure. Well, I don't know who the main protagonist is in Phantasy Star Adventure yet. Apparently, he doesn't have a name. Let's see here. Yep. Okay, operatives include paths are investigator and, of course, thief. A savant. Scientists and specialists. Examples of savants include Amy Sage, Josh Kane, Leia, and well, the first two were PS2. Leia is PS3. Han Malay, PS4, and Dirk, Phantasy Star Gaiden. That's PS3. Oh, so, well, we haven't met Dirk yet, so I hope I didn't spoil it for myself. I don't know who Dirk is yet. Uh, all right, there we go. Paths. Doctor and a mechanist. Okay. Thaumaturge. Brune Walsh. Channelers of arcane power and elemental energy. Examples of thaumaturges include Lutz from Phantasy Star 1, Sean, Phantasy Star 3, Rune, Phantasy Star 4, Menina, Phantasy Star Gaiden, Giancarlo Montague, Phantasy Star Online, and Sarissa, Phantasy Star Z, or Zero, excuse me. So maybe Espers is one of the paths? Okay, where's the paths at? Okay. Yep, there it is, Esper. I was wondering about that. Oh. Sorry, I had to get some wet my whistle a minute. And the other one is Force. Okay, now we got Warrior. Battle Adept and Master of Arms. Examples of warriors include Odin, Phantasy Star 1. There's Odin in Phantasy Star 1 in America. We had what I think his name was Tyrell in or Tyrell in the Japanese version I played. Hey, Arts and Crafts. Yeah, I'm going through the PDF for Phantasy Star Tabletop Roleplaying. I'm going through the character types right now. I'm up to Warrior. I think that's the last one. Warrior, Battle Adaptive Mastery, Rees of Landon and Grizz, Phantasy Star 4. Ren for Phantasy Star 4, and Alec, Phantasy Star Gaiden. I don't know who Gaiden or Alec is yet because I haven't met him yet. Alright, so let's go to... Okay, so Warrior Paths, we got Commando. Did I miss the other one? Warrior Paths, Commando. Uh, apparently, Warrior only has one path to take. Not that Commando. Oh, here we go. Paragon. The other one is called a Paragon. Oh, where'd it go? Yeah, Paragons are... Yeah, so we got Commando and Paragon. Let's see what kind of equipment they got. Okay, so the standard money is Meseta. That's true for pretty much every Phantasy Star game in existence. Item grades, common, uncommon, rare, very rare, and epic. Like I said, I'm not going to go through all of this at this time. I'm probably going to go through Okay, weapon types. We got axes. Bows, axes, bows, claws, daggers, great swords, pistols. Oh yeah, we got laser guns and laser swords in this game. So yeah, badassery. Rifles, rods, slashers. Those are kind of like boomerangs. Swords. Then we go into armor. Armor training. Consumables. Ulcelin. Antitoxin. Escaper. Healing mates. Monomate. Dimate. Trimate. And they added prices to this stuff. Because I remember it was like 50 to get monomate. Here they put 500. They added extra zeros to everything. Mont Blanc cake, moon atomizer. Yeah, they're basically using all the items and stuff from all the games, so you're probably going to see all of them in here. Telepipe accessories, breathing mask, canceller, dimensional backpack. I guess dimensional backpack is their form of the that one pack from D&D that I can't think of the name of right now. Infinite holding, bag of infinite holding, I think it was, yeah. So they have a dimensional backpack. Frayed mantle, light pendant, snow crown, silk mantle, translator ring, white mantle, and windscarf. Then we got miscellaneous gear. Oh, finally. Okay, now we get to look at vehicles. We got planetary vehicles, beast mounts large and huge, groundcraft, bike, car, hover car, Land Rover, and watercraft, hydrofoil, and water bike. Food, drink, and lodging. Services. Between settlements, planetary overland. Shuttle between planets. Leisure activities. Live concert or sporting event. Movie or virtual gaming. Nature or recreating park. Or recreation park, excuse me. And vacation resort. Yes. I haven't gotten the hard copies yet, but this showed up in my mail this morning and I downloaded it. So got a bit of a head start. Didn't have to go to the store. It was in my mail at 5:30 this morning. That's why I'm going through it this way instead of going through the hardback. I'll do a unboxing when it shows up. So that'll be in my next treasures and trinkets when it shows up. If the other box doesn't show up first, there's another game I'm expecting as well. We're waiting on Heroes of the Borderlands, which is another starter set for D&D. Techniques. But yeah, you can play anything from a human. Well, I'm going to go over that again just to refresh my memory because I can't remember. Uh, But yeah, they're using races from the original games and Phantasy Star Online. So you got androids, also called castes. If you were playing Phantasy Star Online, you know them as castes, which are basically robot warriors. You got humans. You got something called a new human, which is basically a mutation between a human and a beast, and they usually look like elves. In Phantasy Star Online, they can actually transform into giant beastmen. Half android, half furry. Yeah, I wish. And then they have another one called a Dizolian, which is basically like a big green alien guy. You got these bird-like people, which called Motavians, which these two are from the original series, the original four games. And then you got something called a Muscat, which is basically uh, a highly intelligent magic-using house cat. And they can talk. If you remember from my Phantasy Star playthrough, that's generally how they were. Well, you can play one, and it talks and it casts magic spells. I think this is where I was at. Yeah, pretty close. I was at two vehicles? No, I was at techniques. Yeah, I wasn't really wanting to go through all this stuff because I know I'd be here forever reading all of it. So I might come back to sections of it. I'm thinking about later on in the week, I'm probably going to read how the game is actually played, which it looks like it's going to be using the D20 system, which, if that's the case, it's probably going to be fairly easy for me to learn. And there's a couple of characters from Phantasy Star Gaiden. Phantasy Star Online. I'm actually surprised they don't mention Phantasy Star Universe, but of course I think Online and Universe, other than a different galaxy or a different universe, it's generally the same kind of thing. Centaurs. I'm already coming up with a great idea for a campaign, but it's just a matter of getting at least 4 to 6 people to play. Oh, Rappy. Yeah, it's probably going to be a scheduling nightmare. Well, that's why I'm waiting until I go through this a few times and come up with a good campaign before actually going into uh, inviting people to play and creating characters. None of that's going to happen until January. The actual putting together a session zero and stuff like that. Like I said before, I do individual before I actually do a session zero. So I'll do like a one-on-one with each player, come up with their characters and stuff like that. Then actually get into getting everybody together and go through a session zero together. Sensor bit. Hey, they got a nice variety of monsters in here. That's for sure. You got to. Well, let me show you how eclectic this is. Oh, I went too far. Here we go. You got everything. It starts with an armored drone, which is basically a flying robot. Then it goes to a Buma, which is kind of a beast. Then a robot. And a centaur. It has everything from completely made up robots and mythological creatures. Chaos sorcerers, dark cultists, a Del Saber, Then we got dragons. We got green dragon, red dragon, and gold dragon. And no, gold dragons are not good guys in this one. They are bad guys as well. Evil Dead, Whites, Liches, Frost Strider, Amundsen, Gigantus, and a Titan. Iglanova. I have no idea what those are. Oh, those are mutants or bio beasts. Asmonos. Another a Fanbite and a Grass Assassin. Lacusto. Mini Worm, Snow Worm, Sandworm. Monster Fly. Helix. Rappy, Blue Rappy. A Ripper. A Ripper and a Piercer. Twin Arms. Robot Cop. As opposed to RoboCop. They had to have that T in there. Androcop, security officer. Does the security officer look any familiar to you at all? I just can't place where I've seen one of those before. Or something like that. Something about wars, and it was in stars. I'm just drawing a blank right now. What about you, Arts and Crafts? Any ideas? Can't think of one. Anyway, moving on. And we got a sensor bit, which is gunner bit, sensor bit, and protect bit. Serpents, which includes wyverns for some reason. Serpent and Nessie. Buck Rogers? That might be it. Don't quote me on that, though. A Sanao Beat. And yes, it's not, there's no misspellings in this. Those are the actual names in the games. A Sanao Beat, a Skeleton, a Scullin, and a Stalker. Green Slime, Red Slime, Pofuely Slime, Tarantul, Antlion, Vile Wizard, Vile Conjurer, Whistlers, Tracer, Whistler, Informer. Wing Eye. Yeah, this is what I was pointing out when the American version, for some reason, they named one of the Wing Eyes Owlbears. That does not look like an owlbear. And a gold lens. Worker Pod and a Wiredyne. Zombie, Ghoul, Battalion. And that's pretty much all the creatures. I'm going to take a quick little break. I'll be right back.
Dungeons and Dragons will return after these messages.
セガはロールプレイングゲームも変えてしまう。ファンタシースター。かつてない驚異のグラフィック。壮大な SF ストーリー。その秘密は4メガ。ファンタシースター。セガ16ビット6メガ。セガファンタシースター2。目を見張るリアルキャラクター。ツインスクロール。メガドライブ対応未体験ロールプレイングゲームファンタシースター2。セガ時を司るのは神か悪魔か。一本で4つのエンディングキングオブ RPG 時の継承者ファンタシースター3。セガ
みんなをつなげる RPG ファンタシースターゼロセガ
And now, back to Dungeons and Dragons.
Alright. I can't see. Where's my glasses? Okay. Creature creation. So we can create our own creatures. That's good. They give us the option for that. A common creature. Monsters by challenge rating. Index of stat blocks. Vehicles and starships. This is what I was wondering about. What kind of vehicles are we looking at here? Beast mounts. Mounting and dismounting. Riding proficiency. Planetary vehicles. Getting in and out. Okay, actually, they made rules on entering and exiting a vehicle. Vehicle stations. Weapon station. Vehicle passengers. Weapons and attack techniques. Damage and immunities. Losing control. Crashing. Planetary vehicle stats. We got a bike, and we got the sights for a bike. A Land Rover. Car, hover car. Hydrofoil. Oh, they got a little thing in blue there. As the GM, you choose if or when vehicles are accessible during the game. As with the video game theories, there are many instances where the characters must find or reach areas where vehicles can't travel or aren't allowed. Starships and space travel. Variant starships on a grid. If you are playing on a grid or a battle map, see movement and combat. Travel and combat in space use the same rules within the following changes. Movement. Units and squares have a 1-to-1 ratio. Each grid square is equal to 1 unit. Virtual movement. Ships in combat are assumed to remain close enough to each other without affecting the lateral distance between them. Unless the GM specifically specifies otherwise, multiple starships can occupy the same square on the grid, even if they're not on the same space. Simultaneous creature and ship actions. Some situations require creatures to act independently during starship combat. In such cases, creatures can roll initiative and resolve their turns within the same initiative order as ships during combat round for ships. All crew maneuvers must be completed before the next order in initiative. In case of a tie, the creature acts first before a ship does. Drive masking. A ship moving at intercept speed can attempt to hide from short-range sensors by making its drive signature. From masking its masking its drive signature. Christ, I couldn't get that out of my mouth. Your technician makes a mechanics. Oh, mechanic. Jesus Christ. God, why couldn't I say that? Mechanics check. The result is the DC required to spot your ship with an opposing perception check. Now, I have yet to play a Phantasy Star game that has space combat in it, but I'm told that in Phantasy Star 4 there is space combat, so we'll see what happens when I get to that game. Gunner maneuvers, technician maneuvers, structural integrity, hull points, taking damage, player ship stats, the Luveno. NPC ship statistics. We got heavy freighter, starfighter, small starfighter, light freighter. NPC ships. Small starfighter, starfighter, heavy bomber, heavy striker, and a frigate. Okay, this is Game Master's tools. Not really going to get into it. Outer space travel, creating a galactic map, space travel speeds, celestial navigation, generate planets, determine features, galactic lore. Okay, classic series timeline. Now, I generally know the timeline of what happens in the games, but I've never actually played the games through their entirety, but I know the full stories. So, spoiler alerts if you don't want to hear them. I'd say I'll try to remember to put a marker on it to when we get to that on the YouTube channel. If I don't, I'm just letting you guys know right now. Spoiler alerts. This is going to give away a lot of the story to the first 4 games in the series, possibly other games as well. And I'm going to read them. So if you don't want to hear it, I'd suggest stopping right now. Go get a drink or something, and don't come back for a little while. Okay, classic series timeline. The following timeline covers major events from various official sources. See Appendix B. And the classic video game series. You can use it for the campaign setting inspiration or adapt it into your own story. The Afterwars AW timeline also references important events that occurred during the following games. Phantasy Star 2, Phantasy Star 3 Generations of Doom, Phantasy Star 2 Text Adventure, Phantasy Star Adventure, Text Adventures, there's multiples, Phantasy Star Gaiden, Phantasy Star 4 The End of the Millennium. Developer's note, resources and discrepancies. The timelines preserved in this chapter are pieced together from multiple sources, some of which contain minor conflictions of information due to creator and developer changes over the years. It is important to note that although certain elements and dates were chosen or interpreted over others, all relevant events remain consistent. Some official sources remain that were unavailable due to time constraints or their rarity. A list of official resources used in the creation of this book is included in Appendix B. The beginning. Millions of years ago were the ancients. Somewhere in the Andromeda galaxy, a primordial entity splits into 2 halves, and a battle ensues between them. This conflict divides an ancient civilization of spirits into opposing factions, waging a war that lasts several million years. The war ends with one side emerging the victor. To prevent another conflict, the victorious entity, the Great Light, banishes its defeated foe. The Great Light creates a new star system to serve as a dimensional prison to seal away the enemy's life forces. The new star is named Algo, around which revolve 4 planets: Palma, Botavia, Desolus, and Ricros. Ricros, I don't know that one. That must be later in the game or series. The seal is discovered to weaken over time. To prevent it from being broken, the Great Light creates an intelligent species native to each planet. Named protectors of this seal, these new life forms would guard the dimensional prison from being breached. The planet Ricros would serve as a warning system, reappearing from a long elliptical orbit every 1,000 years to prevent the protectors of to remind the protectors of their mission. And of course, everyone forgets. Several 100,000 years ago, darkness emerges. Desiring vengeance, the banished entity harnesses dark energies born from the people's fear, hatred, ignorance, and sadness. As a result, it transforms into the profound darkness. This entity creates the dark force, an extension of itself that can cross the weakened seal to sow chaos and spread fear throughout Algol. After millennia of separation, the people of Algol begin to forget their collective goal as protectors. The new The Great Light's existence becomes a myth to all except those native to Rikros, who return when the seal is vulnerable to train heroes who would defeat the Dark Force and purge the profound darkness's influence. Okay, First Millennium. BW100 BW13. Chaos and Division. With their mission as protectors all but forgotten, the nations of Palma descend into strife and contention. Discord and division among the Palmians reaches breaking point. BW13 to AW1. The rise of Wise? A general from Baya Malay named Ways Landale forms an army with the goal of uniting the factions of Palma under one banner. The growing military forces transform into a diverse coalition and establish a lasting peace on Palma. AW1. Waz Landale is crowned the first king of Palma. A new calendar designation is established to mark a new era of peace and prosperity. AW1 to AW183. To the Stars. Palma enters a Renaissance period. Their most talented scientists and engineers join forces to develop starships that can travel across the stars and find other planets. AW-126. A group of Palmian explorers lands on Motavia and makes first contact with Motavian people. AW-157. With knowledge that other people and cultures exist, the humans of Palma continue to explore the Algo system and discover the planet and people of Dezolis. For the next several decades, efforts are made to strengthen peaceful relations between the three planets. AW-183, AW-264, Founding of Paseo. Palma suffers from overpopulation. To resolve the growing crisis, scientists experiment with building settlements on the desert planet Motavia. The Palmians establish a construction site near the planet's largest water body, which they name Lake Perseus. The construction of the city of Paseo is finished under a loose agreement with Motavia's scattered settlements. Migration of human settlers to Motavia begin. An interstellar trade route is established between the planets of Algo. The Palma spaceport becomes a travel hub between the worlds. AW-264 through AW-327. Looming Shadows. As the settlers expand, Motavia becomes a Palmian province, with Paseo as its capital. A malevolent cult grows in secret on Palma, composed of evil magicians, militants, and priests under the influence of Dark Force. The cultists slowly work themselves into positions of power, awaiting an opportunity to hatch a nefarious plan. AW-326. Lutz, a human child from a small village, experiences foreboding visions of a city in the sky and a strong boy who is constant battle. A wandering bard deduces that Lutz has inherited the gift of foresight from his father. The vision is one in which Lutz is destined to play a part. AW-327, AW-329. A Kingdom's Demise. The King of Palma, Oros Landel, dies in a mysterious accident along with the Queen. The kingdom's sole heir is Princess Alice, who is only a year old. The king's headmaster, Ripard Lassic, becomes provisional ruler of Palma until Alice comes of age and can assume the throne. A lady of the court discovers evidence that King Oros was assassinated. To protect the royal line, she smuggles Princess Alice out of Baya Malay and brings the child to the governor of Motavia. Shown evidence of a plot to overthrow the kingdom, Motavia's governor leaves Alice with a close friend who adopts Alice and raises her as a normal citizen. Corruption spreads. While Lassic AW-329 to AW-341, corruption spreads. While Lassic tries to guide Palma toward recovery, the dark cult that engineered Laura's death strengthens its, I'm having a hard time reading some of these, sorry, influences over the new king. Lutz's visions continue to evolve. He sees an impending age of darkness that threatens all in Algo. AW338. Alice's adoptive parents die in an accident, leaving her orphaned along with her adopted brother Nero. Oh, so they're not actually brother and sister, they're adopted to each other. That makes a little bit more sense. Under the cult's influence, King Lassic turns from benevolent minister to malicious monarch. 340 AW341 to AW342. Lassic's Dark Reign. Lassic uses his magic to open a dimensional portal from which dark forces emerges. His corruption complete, Lassic influence unleashes a reign of terror upon Palma. Palma's government is destablished and the planet is overrun by twisted creatures and deadly monsters. Travel from Palma to other planets is restricted. Rebel factions arise within the local governments to fight against Lassic's rule. The evil king sends armies of shock troops and robot cops to arrest dissidents and kill rebel insurgencies. Alyssa's adopted brother Nero becomes a spy for the rebellion. A local hero named Odin and his muskrat companion Meow quest to find a magic axe that can break through Biomalay's magical defenses. The pair run afoul of Medusa, who turns Odin to stone. Meow flees and searches for a way to rescue his friend, but is captured and sold to a shady merchant in Paseo. AW342, The Battle of Biomalay, contains events from the first Phantasy Star. Lassic's forces discover Nero's identity as a rebel spy. Shock troops and robot cops raid Nero's home and execute him for treason. With Alice as his only witness. With this dying breath, Nero tells Alice to seek out Odin, who he believes can stop Lassic. Vowing to take revenge upon the king herself, Alice takes Nero's sword and sets off in search of Odin. Alice travels to Matavia where she meets Meow. After purchasing the muscat from a shady Paseo merchant, the two return to Palma and arrive at the cave where Odin fell to Medusa. Using the Alsulan, Meow carries Odin. God, why am I having such a hard time reading this stuff all of a sudden? Odin is restored and joins forces with Alice and Meow. The governor of Motavia sends Alice on a mission to find Lutz, a member of the order of mystics known as the Espers. After finding Lutz, Alice convinces the Esper to leave his training isolation and join her. The party of four search for Dr. Leveno, a scientist who can build them a spaceship to bypass Lassic's travel restrictions. They rescue Leveno from a secret prison in the mountains. As thanks, the doctor builds them a starship, which he names the Leveno. With information garnered from Lutz's master, the party travels from their planet to retrieve mystic armaments along with artifacts they can use to infiltrate Biomalay. At the top of Biomalay Tower, Meow transforms into a winged beast and flies the party to the air castle. The party fights its way to Lassic's throne room and kills the king, ending his reign. Upon returning to Paseo, the party discovers that dark forces possess the governor's body and mind. They defeat the dark force beneath the governor's mansion and seal away its corruption energy. The governor reveals Alice's lost heritage and names her the new Queen of Algo. AW343, AW345, Purging the Darkness. Though named Queen of Algo, Alice spends little time on the throne and spends the following years among the people, with Lutz as her advisor. Working with Oda and Meow, the companions seek to eradicate the last vestiges of Lassic's forces. AW345, AW349, Beyond Algo. During a journey from Otavia to Palma, Alice's shuttle is sabotaged by Lassic's Lassic loyalists. The ship's warp drive becomes unstable, transporting Alice, Lutz, and the ship's crew to a distant planet light years from Algo. The two become embroiled in a struggle between peaceful space settlers and occupying military forces. During their travel, Alice and Lutz realize the dimensional portal opened by Lassic could be reopened again in 1,000 years. Upon returning to Algo, Lutz develops the art of techniques, whose use isn't limited to those of magical lineage. Lutz gathers the Espers and imports his knowledge of Algo. He then uses a cryonic chamber to enter cryosleep. Alice and Odin travel to the planet Copto, whose colony is ravaged by an evil demon named Coblon. They defeat Coblon and seal the demon away. Alice helps to rebuild the fallen colony, which is named Alislan in her honor. Aware of a coming darkness returning to threaten Algo, Alice enters cryosleep on Copto, using a cryo chamber similar to the one used by Lutz. The AW813, The Legend Returns, contains events from Phantasy Star Gaiden. I'll be right back again.
Dungeons and Dragons will return after these messages.
Okay, now we're talking Thunderblade. One heavily armed attack copter. Evil forces trashing your city. 12 rounds of major air-to-ground destruction. An arcade classic. Allow me. Note my aerial technique. Hey, guys, come on, you'll get your turn.
Thunderblade, just one of 70 games from Sega. And now look for the incredible Phantasy Star. Sega, major fun and games.
Where do they see Phantasy Star?
Sega's Thunderblade, Phantasy Star, and Master Systems sold separately.
16-bit arcade graphics.
You can't do this on Nintendo. Genesis does.
16-bit arcade action.
You can't do this on Nintendo. Genesis
Does.
Genesis
Does.
Genesis
Does.
Genesis
Does.
Genesis does.
16-bit arcade hits.
You can't do this on Nintendo. Genesis does.
What Nintendo don't. The 16-bit Genesis system by Sega. Genesis does it all.
Genesis does.
16-bit arcade graphics.
You can't do this on Nintendo. Genesis does.
16-bit arcade action.
You can't do this on Nintendo. Genesis
Does.
Genesis
Does.
Genesis
Does.
Genesis
Does.
Genesis does.
16-bit arcade hits.
You can't do this on Nintendo. Genesis does.
What Nintendo don't. The 16-bit Genesis system by Sega. Genesis does it all.
And now, back to Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay, let's try this again. Sorry, I took a bite of a mini carrot. Okay, we were just entering The Legend Returns. Contains events from Phantasy Star Gaiden. The demon Coblon reawakens during a time of civil unrest on Copto. Menina, a young girl from a village on Copto, discovers an antique magic pendant. She and her friend Alec uses the... Could have sworn I felt mildly on my leg. Pendant to locate a scroll detailing a prophecy in which Menina is the descendant of Alice, and the two youths are destined to save Copto from destruction. With the help of an ancient android named Lars, Alec and Menina discover Alice's cryonic chamber. Lars awakens Alice. Alice confirms that Menina is genetically descended from her. Overshout. Alec, Alice, and Menina journey to Kablan's castle where they destroy the demon. With knowledge of a greater evil to soon threaten Algo, Alice leaves Copto to prepare. AW-822, 8W-868, The Conjunction. Humans from the planet Earth arrive in the Algo system aboard the starship Noah. AW-843, a divergent alignment of Algo's planets causes a cataclysmic event known as the Conjunction. The gravitational interference from each planet causes a shift in Matavia and Palma's orbits, resulting in devastation on both worlds. Earthling agents sabotage escape shuttles fleeing Palma, killing all aboard. One is rumored to contain the last of Palma's royal line, ending the Lendel dynasty. AW-845, to restore the planet's environment, construction begins on a climate control network on Palma, with Dazolus and Motavia soon to follow. At the center of these networks is the supercomputer Mother Brain, which is secretly controlled by the Earthlings aboard the Noah. Wait, we're the bad guys? Lutz awakens, gathers his remaining followers, and builds the Esper mansion on Dazolus. Lutz then re-enters cryo-sleep beneath it. AW-868. Construction begins and terraforming on Palma and Motavia is completed. Mother Brain assumes control of all public services and planetary resources. An underground resistance forms on Palma to fight against Mother Brain's autocratic authority. Second Millennium, AW-1234, or 1234 and 1281. Life under Mother Brain. Contains events from Phantasy Star Adventure and Phantasy Star 2 Text Adventures. Mother Brain has complete control over all aspects of life on Palma and Motavia, though pockets of resistance exist on Palma. To prevent access to its climate control system, Mother Brain restricts ocean travel. AW-1268, a scientist named Dr. Ken Miller invents the Power Enhancer, a machine that can genetically boost a human's physical attributes. Dr. Miller is abducted, and his machine is stolen by agents working for the Baron Laboratory. Dr. Miller's friend, a government agent of Paseo, is visiting at the time of Miller's abduction. The Paseo agent visits Baron Laboratory but fails to save Dr. Miller. The agent learns the catalyst for activating the machine is a stone worn by Dr. Miller's sister, who is secretly an android Miller invented. With the help of a recluse named Rosero, the agent infiltrates the laboratory again. The Power Enhancer is activated and increases the agent's strength, but also transforms the lab director into a monster. The agent defeats the monster and saves Dr. Miller. Dr. Miller gives the stone to the agent for safekeeping. I don't know why I said android. AW-1274, Mother Brain engineers a crash between two shuttles over Dazolus in an attempt to eliminate members of the resistance who are aboard. Lutz awakens, sensing Alice's Landale's spirit call out to him for help. All passengers are killed but one, who Lutz used his power to save. The survivor, a boy named Rolf, is secretly a descendant of Alice. Mother Brain uses the crash as an excuse to restrict interplanetary travel. Having lost his parents in the shuttle accident, Rolf is sent to an orphanage in Paseo, where he meets his best friend Shelley. A year later, he leaves to train as a swordsman. The secret action of the Earthlings and Mother Brain continue to strengthen the profound darkness which further extends its presence into Algo. 1281 to AW 1284, Darkness Rising. Contains events from Phantasy Star 2 text adventures. Rudolf Rudo Steiner, a soldier of the Motavian government, returns home to the town of Mahal to find his wife and child killed by a biomonster. Rudo tracks the creature to a Motavian sanctuary and destroys it. He then leaves the military, vowing to eradicate all biomonsters. Josh Kane, a recluse from the seeds town of Luma, runs afoul of both the police and local gang leader Melville, who wishes to recruit Kane to destroy Mother Brain. At the behest of Melville's sister, Kane infiltrates Mother Brain's facility to rescue Melville, but arrives too late. Kane leaves for Paseo. After years of training, Rolf returns to Paseo to discover Shelley has been kidnapped. The abduction turns out to be a recruitment test devised by Paseo's Governor O'Connor, using his agent, Shelley, as bait. Rolf defeats O'Connor, passing his test. He is recruited as an agent soon after. That's kind of a fucked up test. Okay. AW 1282. Anna Zursky, a bounty hunter, pursues the leader of a gang accused of hacking Mother Brain. She discovers the gang leader, Hack, was adopted by Motavians after his parents died, and has been searching for information on their deaths by accessing Mother Brain's files. Anna sets Hack free and marks him as an escaped bounty. As part of a secret experiment, a team of government and scientists redirect energy from Motavia's climate control system, Climatrol, to their biosystems lab. The surge of energy results in an accident that creates Nay First, a creature formed from human genes spliced from those of biomonsters. The scientists try to purge Nay First as a failed experiment, but she revolts and kills the scientists. Filled with rage and vengeance, Nay First uses the scientists' experiments to unleash wave of biomonsters into Motavia. The surge of emotion fractures Nay First's essence. A new creature, Nay, splits off from Nay First, devoid of Nay First's hate and malice. Nay flees the biosystems lab. Two of the scientists, a married couple, help Nay escape. The couple take her into raise as their own. AW 1284. Nay loses her home and foster parents when an outlaw hired by a government scientist burns down her home. She flees to Paseo, where she encounters first Rolf, then Rudo, who both show her kindness. She locates the scientist responsible, who's soon killed by the outlaw for failure to pay out. The scientist apologizes to Nay before his death. As Nay fights the outlaw, Rolf intervenes and arrests him for murder. Rolf offers for Nay to stay and live with him. Amy Sage, a doctor from Rivertown, encounters a kite devil, a biomonster that can't be killed with normal weapons. She teams up with another scientist and uses a special relic to defeat the kite devil as it attacks her hometown. During the battle, her home and workplace are destroyed. She leaves Rivertown in search of others who need her help. Hugh Thomas, a college student, hears rumors of a strange creature in the campus gymnasium's basement. He tracks a plant-like biomonster to the reactor room and destroys it. Upon his death, Hugh identifies it as a creature that evolved from his own lab experiments. Sure Gold, a noble's daughter turned renowned thief, infiltrates the Paseo Gallery to steal the priceless Opa Opa painting. She succeeds and evades capture, further cementing her status as a master burglar. Fall of Mother Brain. I think I'm gonna actually stop at the Fall of Mother Brain, because my eyes are actually getting tired at this point reading this small print. And I mean this small print. I don't want to... Yeah, I can't seem to enlarge it any, so... Okay, so thank you guys for watching. This is going to be the first portion of this. I might come back to this a little bit later tonight. Well, this wasn't so much as session as a reading. But I'll continue this probably later on tonight or first thing tomorrow morning. So you guys take care. I'll see you guys in the next video or stream, whichever comes first. Bye-bye.